the willingness to make that switch in as many circumstances as possible from I have to or I need to I'm choosing to is a really powerful way to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome, friend. I'm so excited to chat with you and my best friend, Nicole. She's been on the show before, and I begged her to come back because she's so full of amazing inspiration and wisdom. And the information about her in the show notes. We are going to talk about the scarcity mindset. And when you think about, most people think about that's money, but this is our time, our energy, our relationships. Scarcity can be in any part of your life when you feel like you don't have enough. And how do we get through that? So we're going to let Nicole teach us how to have more an abundant mindset in all of our areas of life. So Nicole, welcome back to the show. Help us.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here. And this topic really is something that affects almost everyone to some degree or another, or at some point in our lives or another. And I'm just excited to be able to chat and share ideas, perspectives that may be able to help some folks see things a little bit differently and shift their perspective.
I love any new ideas, because sometimes you just kind of get stuck in that rut. And how do I get out of it? And it might not be a bad rut, but it's still that repeating pattern of how we view things. And I would say the thing that I feel the most scarce about is self-confidence. Do you know that that's still a scarcity mindset? And so how on any part of our lives, our work-life balance or integration, there's a scarcity somewhere in our brain that we can turn around. So help me turn that around and go, I have all the confidence in the world.
For sure. Maybe what I might even start with, because I think this might help folks and help her or listening in here today about where that comes from. Like,
Ooh,
where
yes.
does this scarcity mindset come from? Because if you think back to when you were born, you weren't born at 6 months old thinking, I'm not confident enough, or I don't have enough, or what if there isn't enough food, or that's not, we're not born into that. It's throughout life experiences that we start to see things a little bit in a more scarce way, I guess we could say. One of the statistics that was shared was Mark Victor Hansen, who had recited it, but this concept from a negativity bias perspective was that by the time a child is 17 years old, they've heard the words, no, you can't, an average of 150,000 times, and the words, yes, you can, an average of 5,000 times.
Wow.
Which means
That's a huge
30 no's
difference.
for every one yes, right? So even with well-intended parents or teachers or people who are raising you, it still leads to a powerful belief of I can't, or I shouldn't, or it's dangerous. I don't want to put myself out there. What if I get hurt? Or what if something bad happens? So we have this programming. And I just wanted to share that because it's helpful to know that you're not born with lack mindset or scarcity mindset. Sometimes I use those words interchangeably. It's through life experiences, and a lot of it is through childhood, even well-intended or even a good childhood. It's not always, severe trauma. It's just there are just societal programs that money doesn't grow on trees, or no, we can't afford that. Those are financial ones that create this belief. When you're a child, you don't have the ability to filter out what's true or false. You just accept everything as true, and then it's a matter of, as you become an adult, to say, okay, which ones of those thoughts, if you were raised and your parents were always late for everything, or they always said we don't have enough time. When you're a child, you don't know whether that's true or false. It's just your experience. So it's choosing later in life as an adult to be able to say, can I choose to look at these things a bit differently?
That's so true because I remember being a really, really young kid running around the house, just enjoying life and not worrying about where my meal was coming from or where my clothes were coming from or if somebody liked me or not. But then you start getting into school and you start having these, I don't like you. And then all of a sudden it's like, maybe I'm not likable. And so we have this carefree ability when we're so little. And then something starts happening where we start get second guessing that. And so now that I think, oh, maybe I'm not likable, how do I switch that around to have abundant of likability?
So there's many tools and means of transitioning your mindset. One of the tools that I have used with friends and clients and even myself is a concept I call progressive affirmations. And
Okay.
it's the use of affirmative words, positive affirmative words with repetition and emotion to progressively shift that belief. So instead of going from, I don't have enough time, and then just having an affirmation that says, I have all the time in the world, because the part of your brain that doesn't believe that is going to think that's a lie. Of course I don't. Why would like, so sometimes affirmations can work and sometimes they don't yet if your brain just can't accept it, right? So
Right.
sometimes they're too big. So the progressive affirmation, and I can give some examples, is a way to crack the door open to say maybe that thought isn't a fact. Maybe it's possible I could start to look at it differently, and then over time you gradually shift your perspective.
So would it be something like I am creating more and more time for myself every day? Or how would you say that I just don't have time for myself um,
Mhm.
to a
That's actually a
progressive
great
one?
Yeah, that's actually a great example. The saying what you just said was the I'm creating more and more time every day. That's a great example because more and more is progression. It's moving. It's moving. It's not static. It's not just a fact. It's moving, and it allows for you to see that okay, that might be possible. So I love that one. Actually, that's a great example. The words that I often have started with or have had people start with is up until now,
I like that.
and I am choosing.
I like
So,
that. So up
yeah,
and until now, I haven't taken time for myself. I am choosing to make time for myself.
yes.
Okay.
It's really a powerful way to allow yourself to admit how you've been showing up until now. So instead of saying, I never have enough time for myself or I never take time for myself, that may be true up until now. But if you continue to say that, you will continue to recreate that belief, right? If you continue to say, I don't have enough, you literally will not have enough until you change that belief. So it's the willingness to say, up until now, I haven't been doing this. Up until now, I haven't been giving myself time for myself. Up until now, I have not felt like the most confident woman, you know? Up until now, I've found I've have some fears or some hesitations. So it allows you to admit how you've been showing up. I like to say how you've been showing up because it's not who you are. It's not, it's just the way you've been experiencing your life or the way you've been showing up. Up until now, I haven't been doing this. And today I am choosing to take a step to change. So you see how it kind of leaves that little crack of a door. The door is just
Mm.
open a crack. You're now thinking, okay, maybe it's possible. So many times, scarcity mindset is black and white. I don't have enough. I can't. I never. It's always this way. It's like a fact that people just are stuck on and like, no, it happens every single time. You don't understand, Nicole. It's always been this way. By saying up until now, you're allowing yourself to say, okay, that is true. It's true up until now. That's how it's been. And I'm choosing to make a change. And I found that it's been really powerful way to kind of just, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, up until now, I can, because people want to be heard. They want to be seen and say, no, really, I really don't have enough time. And it's like, okay, I believe you up until now. Instead of just forcing someone to try to look at the bright side, look at the glass half full. Like, we want to be seen and heard, and right. So that seems to be a powerful transition.
I'm trying to put all of my little doubts and fears into this. So, like, up until now, I have been pleasing other people and not showing up as myself. Today, I choose to show up to give myself permission to show up as myself. So, taking
Mic
that.
drop. That was so good.
So, anything that it is that we're feeling that lack,
Yes.
up until now, I haven't felt like I had enough time to take care of myself. Today, I choose to spend more time on taking care of myself. And that doesn't mean now I'm all of a sudden taking all the perfect care of myself. That means giving myself a little bit more time.
Yeah. And you
Okay.
could even say that. And today I'm choosing to give myself a little bit of time. That's more than zero, or I can't. A
Right.
little bit is the progression. It's like, it's a step. I'm moving. I'm open to the idea of it possibly being different than it has been up until now.
So this with the emotional side seems very, very, for me, adjustable. But what about money? Because that's kind of this box. I go to work, I make this $100,000 a year, and this is what I'm stuck in. So how would I take, up until now, my income has been limited to X. Today I choose to what? Make more money? Find a
Yeah,
way to make
sure.
more money?
Yep.
Adjust my budget so I have more discretionary, so however you feel.
Yeah, I think the first step in that transition would be, today I'm choosing to believe it's possible to create more.
Ooh, I like that. Yes,
And then once you believe it's possible, then an idea of, oh, maybe I could do this or do that or do this, because now you're in an open mind. When you say I can't, or this is the only way I get my money and I can't make any more, then it's your mind can't even creatively think of ideas or solutions, because you're in it's a fixed mindset.
I
So,
really like the way because it's like, how do you rephrase that? I want a fixed income,
mhm,
But yeah, I'm choosing that there is a possibility of changing my
mhm,
income. And just knowing that it's possible, then you can start thinking about the house. But if you feel like I'm already burnt out, I already don't have time, I can't spend more money, I'm more time at the job, I can't take a second job, those
mhm,
are limiting because you're saying I can't.
mhm,
So switching to choose seems very empowering.
mhm. Yes. And even if you're choosing whatever you choose, just knowing that it's a choice does give you that empowering feeling to say, I'm choosing to pay my mortgage. I, if
Mhm.
I don't have to, if I don't, I'll probably lose my house. So I do want to keep my house. So therefore, I'm choosing. But when you say I'm choosing to pay my mortgage, even if there's a little, depending on how people feel about that, it's not going to always feel like roses. But it does feel more empowering than saying, I have to pay my mortgage this month. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have to pay it. Just by using the words, I am choosing to do this. So therefore I'm choosing to find a way to make sure that it can happen. If that is an example, if there's some kind of financial example that where people have fear associated
I
with it.
think it's perfect. And I think the other step that makes it fun is to write down the reasons you choose it. I choose to pay my mortgage because I want to live in this house and not downgrade. I choose to pay my mortgage because I like the neighborhood I'm in. If you can add the more choices of why, then it even adds that more power to your choices, because they talk about changing have to choose to all the time, because you don't have to do anything. Everything you do today, every minute, every moment is a choice,
Mhm.
because how do we respond to it? And I know we all go, but I have to do this. Yes, but why? And
Yep.
those whys are why you choose to do it.
hmm the willingness to make that switch in as many circumstances as possible, from I have to or I need to I'm choosing to, is a really powerful way to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, because it allows you to feel like I am choosing these things. And I love what you were saying about adding the reasons why, because the way to make progressive affirmations or some of these language changes work for you is by using emotion and repetition. It's not just saying it one time today after listening to this show. It's writing it down and then reading it every morning, or reading it every day, or saying it to yourself while you're driving, picking one or two or three, that really resonate with you, and saying it with repetition and emotion. And the best way to get to emotion is by knowing why. Why do I care? Why do I want this? Why is this important to me? So I love that recommendation. Thank you for adding to that. adding like,
The other thing I was thinking is, what do I choose? Today, I may choose to have more rest. Tomorrow, I may choose to have more exercise. And it's okay to wake up and say, today, I choose to take care of myself through rest.
Mhm.
I'm not lazy. I'm not a couch potato. I'm resting. Today, I choose to go on a walk for me. If you can wake up with, what are you going to choose today for you? Then you're going to make the time. And you know what? It's not bad if you change your mind. Well, I ran out of daylight. This is my excuse yesterday. I can't pick up the dog poop because it's too dark. I choose to do it tomorrow. It's like, I will get up early and make sure that it's up before the lawnmower dude comes. So those are the kind of things that we choose. And it's not like, oh, I was lazy or I ran out of time. I chose other things with my time.
Mhm.
And you never really thought of that as the word for switching from scarcity to abundance.
Mhm.
I've always wondered, what is this abundant mindset? And that's so simple.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a very powerful way to make that shift. And I think those examples, even of I'm not lazy, or I'm not, like, if that thought comes, it's likely from some past experience that led to that belief. Because you're not born with the thought of being lazy. Somebody said something, or something happened along the way that leads to some limited belief about ourselves, and the willingness to say, no, I'm choosing this. It's not as a choice. Right? It feels different. It feels
Oh,
terrible to say I'm lazy and I'm not good enough. Like, that's totally scarcity. It's not abundant.
my mom will say, God, I'm lazy today. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Mom, you have pneumonia.
Oh goodness.
Mom, you're
Mm.
sick. You're not lazy. You're repairing. Your body's repairing. It's okay. But she was raised so much with the do, that if she feels like her energy can't do it, she thinks she's being lazy. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, Mom, you're not being lazy. So it's like, how do
Mhm.
we teach our children or our friends to
Mhm.
change that mindset? And I was just remembering this last weekend, I was out with my friends, and one of them said, I'm too much. And I went, no, 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 no. I'm challenging that thought process. For some people, you may be too much, but those people may not be enough.
Mhm.
You need to be happy with you. I said, I love your energy. I love the passion that flows out of you. You're not too much.
Mhm.
If someone can't handle you, that's okay. That's their limit. So it's embracing those things that are
Mhm.
us that
Mhm.
give us so much power.
Mhm. Absolutely. It's so true. It's hard to hear when someone has that perspective, and it's likely the same thing somewhere along the lines. It was she was heard like, oh, you're being too much. Maybe it was even when she was in school, when she was in class. Like, it could go back that far, where you're too much. You got to quiet down. You got to stay focused. That belief, those beliefs that are formed at a young age, do carry with us for a long time.
And our thought and our speech pattern to other people can add to that impact, because I've really worked on, instead of telling my kids, you're out of control, as right now you have a lot of energy, let's go get it out. Or, how do I take advantage of telling them that what they're experiencing right now is okay? Somebody at work comes in and they're exhausted. You don't go, oh, you're being lazy today, or you're not on top of your game. You say, I see that you need some time. I see that you need to refocus, and allow people those dips and the highs
Mm.
and appreciate them. And that is the way we can help others gain that abundant mindset without them even knowing.
Mhm. Absolutely. The words we use and the energy with which we say things to others absolutely can influence their lack or abundance perspective or how they see themselves. I love that. I often find anytime we say the words to ourselves, I am, and whatever follows that, right? I am lazy versus I am choosing to rest. Your The words I am reflect an identity of how you see yourself. And it's the same with others. If you say you are this way or you are being this way, instead of my experience of you right now is that you have a lot of energy and you need to get that out. It's not watching our words with ourselves and with others when it reflects an identity, right? Because like those are the things that if you say my experience of you right now is that you've got a lot of energy to get out, that's awesome. Instead of you have too much energy or you are too much or you are being too much right now. That is implying that this is just a way of being that's long term versus a one time experience that's just a way that you're expressing yourself right in this moment. So that's one of the other ways, like you're using that example there, is just shifting the way you describe yourself or others based on your experience of right now rather than an identity of who you are always.
Well, and I think that's important, that we start learning how to embrace our identity and not think that every experience or every emotion is who we are.
Mhm.
But I'd like to take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor. When we come back, let's delve a little bit deeper into that, changing up those words to help our personal identity be more empowering, because that is what creates our abundance. So we'll be right back.
This podcast is sponsored by Lara Jane Coaching. You know you're ready to silence your inner bully voice. Let Lara Jane support you with coaching. To schedule an introduction call, go to larajanelayton.com.
All right, Nicole, help me with this verbalizing thought process of being okay with the ups and downs, being okay with the changes in life, and knowing they're not me.
Mhm. There's a few tools, I guess, that I use. One of them is just the willingness to take a step back, take a breath, and look at things in your life that you're grateful for. It it shifts your state from life is happening to me, or I'm not enough, or I don't have enough. Like that those negative lack scarcity thoughts can build momentum, whether it's about yourself or about your circumstance, by just taking a breath, pausing for a moment, and looking at the things in your life. Wow, I'm grateful for the clean water that I have. I'm grateful for the sky and the clouds. It's a way to, first of all, stop the momentum of the negative thought, self doubt or circumstance doubt. Gratitude is the emotion of abundance. It's like one of the highest frequencies, up there with love and joy. And I think I've heard it said to be, it's the emotion of receiving. So if you want to receive more in your life, being in a state of gratitude can be a vehicle to shift everything around you. Because when you start to see things that are good and you start to feel better, now all of a sudden the momentum of not enoughness slows down, and you start to take action from a place of more peace and gratitude. So it's not just specifically to your self identity, but it's all included. It overlaps in your whole circumstance and your identity. So gratitude it may seem like a simple practice. There's a whole chapter called Gratitude in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, which was written maybe 100 years ago by Wallace D. Wattles. But it's a book. It's not just rich financially. It's about abundance holistically. He just uses the word rich. But it's a well accepted article in the field of positive psychology, or book rather. And gratitude is one of the most fundamental chapters in the whole book. Is if you want abundance in your life, gratitude's the foundation. You've got to get yourself into a state of seeing all that is good in your life in order to be able to receive more and create more.
I like that. And because I love a gratitude practice, and especially when I'm feeling frustrated. There's a word I don't like to use. I reflect right then and go, what is it that I'm thankful for right now? Instead of spiraling down in that grouchy, I'm getting more angry. It's like, if I can take that moment right then and go, what am I thankful for? I am thankful for the people that I have in my life that have not just disappeared. And I am thankful for the people who have dealt with my ups and downs and they love me still. What is it? It could be, I'm thankful for this home that keeps the rain off my head. Just one grateful thought can help turn that downward spiral off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's a great thought and practice of gratitude. And
Yeah.
I have a friend that has their family, and I know more than one person does this because I've seen it on TV, but their family on their visor. And in the morning, they flip that down and go, I'm going to work for my family. Because the gratitude and the why is the family. I'm thankful for them. I want them to have a roof over their head. And that keeps them going to work without being stressed about it. And so it's finding that one thing. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your house. Maybe it's your dog. It doesn't matter what that one thing that keeps you going is. If you can find a place to put a picture of it, a lot of people have it on their home screen on their cell phones before it's even unlocked. There's my family. So it's what works for you. It could be your house. It could be your dream house. You don't even have to already have it. You go like, this is what I'm thankful for. I am working towards this. And it gives you purpose. And purpose is so much more important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it. And I do love the future gratitude as well, right? You can be grateful in advance for the thing that you're working towards, or thankful that you have a dream to work towards. There's so many ways of looking at it. And I do appreciate you said you at one point, because it is interesting if you have someone or write a gratitude list, how often does their own name come up on their own list of what they're grateful for? Because that's a powerful way to also say, wait a minute, I'm grateful for me. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for my willingness to do those uncomfortable things. I'm grateful that, I was able to birth a child, or like there's times that you can put that gratitude back on yourself, and that can definitely help you with your identity and confidence when you look at, wait a minute, look how far I have come. Look how many things I have created in my life.
Yeah, it could even be, I'm grateful for my health that allows me to move around. Or if you are in a wheelchair, I'm grateful for my wheelchair that gives me mobility. Or whatever it is. What are you grateful that helps you make it through the day?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yep.
you should always be the first one on the list. Because without you, nothing else exists. You don't have a spouse, you don't have a house. Ooh, I think that's a great challenge. Start your gratitude list with you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every day. That's a great idea. What is one thing you're thankful for yourself for? And then you can add everybody else. That's a great idea.
I'm writing it down for a future challenge.
Yeah, you get credit for the idea. But that's good. That's good. And it is interesting because honestly, it's very common to not put yourself on the list because we are so outwardly focused, which can be beautiful as well. It's just remembering that we are part of this equation and we are worthy of being one of the people that we can be grateful for or thankful for or appreciate. Yeah. And it
Well,
changes your state.
right. There is nothing in this world without you.
Mhm.
You are at the top of the pyramid. You are what keeps the rest of the pyramid together. And that's not to give you the stress of having to keep everybody else together because you can choose to let any of that go at any moment.
Awesome.
How fun. This is, but I love conversations that create inspiration and how do we, that openness to new ideas.
hmm it does, and it has so far. I have one other thought, just around this whole idea of shifting from scarcity to abundance mindset. So gratitude is one of the probably strongest fundamental tools to do that. Using those progressive affirmations is a powerful way to transition without trying to jump too aggressively over to the other side, but not believing it. It's a progressive way to shift your belief. The other thing that I'd love to just reflect on is this idea that life is happening for you, not to you. And it's kind of this concept of accepting the good and the bad, not expecting the bad to come, but if it does come or when it does, because we're human and there will be ups and downs, and knowing that life is happening for me. I'm still worthy of all these good things, even if this one experience that I'm in right now didn't turn out the way I expected it to do, or I had hoped for it to do, or kind of just living in this place of acceptance and knowing that you can learn and grow from any situation in any circumstance. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is, it's not going to be like this forever. You're always, life is moving. And that willingness to say, oh, I missed my flight. Okay. Whew. Take a little breath. Maybe at first I feel frustration or lack or scarcity for a second there, but how quickly can you say, okay, I feel down for a minute because we're human. It's fine. It's not bad to feel that down. It's just, can you get out of that state and say, okay, how is life happening for me right now? And thinking about the ways that maybe I'm going to meet someone I wasn't going to otherwise meet. Now I'm going to be at the airport for a couple more hours and I'm going to just read. And I wouldn't have otherwise had time to do that. And you don't always even have to know what the reason is in that moment, but just knowing that life is happening for you. So that's just a general concept that I have found for myself personally, just allows me to always switch into abundance. I would call that abundance, by the way. The knowledge that life is happening for me and I'm learning from my mistakes. That's abundance. I'm growing because I made a mistake, but I'm learning from it. That's abundance. I made a mistake and I'm dwelling in it and I'm stuck in the not enough and lack. That's scarcity. But abundance doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. It just means that you can accept and move forward even with those circumstances. So I just love that perspective. Life's happening for me.
I do too. I think it's very powerful. And one of the things that for me helps me, especially when it's something like, oh my God, this is happening to me again, is to go, okay, last time this happened, or last time I went through a really tough time, look at my growth. Look at how I changed. Look at what I learned. I am doing it again. I'm learning again. I'm growing. And how boring would life be if we never changed?
Mhm.
And I also have to remember that to really appreciate the joy and the happiness, you kind of have to experience the other side and to know what it's like on the other side. And that way you appreciate the good times and helps you appreciate the bad times because they help you appreciate the good times. And it's just a cycle. And you have the strength. You can do it. And we look at our own strengths as, yeah, no big deal.
Mhm.
And we look at other people's strengths that we don't have as, oh, I want those. And I go back to my fish and bird stories, if you're a fish and you're envying the person that's flying, you can swim.
Mhm.
They don't swim. And they're probably looking down at you as like, I don't know how to swim. So we all look at somebody else for the things that we don't have. But look at the strength that you do have in your areas. And I
Mhm.
think it gives you so much more power. Or the monkey that doesn't swim or fly, but he climbs and he has a great day. That's what matters.
Mhm. That's a great example because one of the fastest way to get into scarcity mindset is by comparison, comparing yourself to others. Even if you're doing great, there will always be someone doing more in some area of your life or in multiple. And it's the willingness to not be in that comparison mindset, like you're saying. Like they may be looking at you thinking, wow, you're doing so awesome in this other area or in this other way. Right. And so if people like just humanity in general could reduce the amount of comparison, it would allow so much more peace and so much more of people just being who they are and not trying to be what they should be or what someone else thinks. Social media really challenging because there is so much comparison, especially with younger generations now that they're brought up in this intense comparison world, and it leads to a lot of depression and lack. And so the willingness to I'm going to be me. You're going to be you.
And it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
It's a snapshot. You are comparing yourself to a snap. That's it. And you've got 24 hours, all those seconds every day of you. And it's that one picture you're comparing yourself to. That person has their ups and downs. And if you watch TV and all the fake ones, like I really wonder how many people are really faking what's on social media. Because TV shows you, oh, well, it's just a picture in my background and you think I'm on the beach. It's like, you don't know. It's a picture.
Mhm.
It's a rendition of somebody's very small, minuscule part of life. And you got it.
Mhm.
When you realize there are many of those snapshot moments of you that are perfect,
Mhm.
it's easier to let go of the comparison.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Social media shows primarily people are posting the best part of their day, not all the other struggles that are in between. And those who are sharing all the struggles probably also have good things that are happening. So
Yeah.
it really is
I've
dynamic.
I've tried every once in a while on social media to post something real, like how I look in the morning before I've even touched my hair. It's like, don't I wake up with perfect hair? It's like Bozo the clown look. But
Yeah.
it's like life, we all don't look like supermodels all day long.
Mhm.
That's, it's just, it's okay.
Mhm.
Supermodels, not most of them, it's
Mhm.
very common to have touch ups done on the photos. And that's where you're comparing yourself to someone that doesn't even exist.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. And that's really why it's just leads to so much of that lack and scarcity perspective because you can't measure up to someone who it's
Doesn't
touched up and
exist.
it's not actually their real. You don't see the full picture nor the real picture in a lot of cases. And so, yeah, the
You only
willingness to
see
free
this
yourself from
square
comparison.
behind me. Who
Mhm.
knows if it's a mess or clean everywhere else? And you don't. You
Yeah.
just see what's in the initial view.
Hmm.
There's a whole lot more going on.
Hmm. Yep.
Nicole, why don't you share with our friend how to get a hold of you, a little bit about yourself, and then that one thing they can do this week to
Awesome.
find some time for themselves.
Sounds good. Yes. So Nicole Kernohan, you can go to NicoleKernohan.com, NicoleKernohan. And you can reach out if you want to connect in there. You can also find me on social media. It's under the same. And my social media is available through the website if you want to just go there and you'll find my other contacts. But I do share a lot of tips and posts and inspirational or informational messages on social platforms. So I'd be happy to have anyone follow along. And the one thing that you can do today, I am going to trust my intuition, and I'm going to suggest that first thing in the morning, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, to not turn on your email or text or even social media, but the willingness to give yourself 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, first thing in the morning, right when you wake up. Whatever you are first exposed to is going to set the trajectory of your day. If you check emails and all of a sudden you have all these messages, or you look at your phone and you have 5 missed calls, whether it's from personal family situations or whether it's from work, it can lead to a state of stress or emotion. And many people wake up, and that's the first thing they do, and that's the first emotion they have, and then that's the emotion that kind of goes into momentum. So the willingness to say, for the first 5 to 10 minutes of your day, think about something you're thankful for, or many things you're thankful for. Perhaps listen to a guided meditation. Just choose something in the first 5 to 10 minutes that's simple, like one of those two things would probably be the easiest method before checking messages, emails, even if it's social media, like before checking any other digital platform. And I would just love to see how it feels. Do that for 1 week. And that's small, right? 5 to 10 minutes. We're not asking for you to give yourself a lot of time. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes first thing in the morning and see how it shifts the trajectory of your day.
What a great challenge. And Nicole, all those links you talked about are in the show notes in case they weren't able to get them written down. So thank you so much for joining us. Just a reminder, I am, and neither is Nicole, a medical or mental licensed professional. We're here for entertainment, people that want to just help you have the best day possible. So thank you, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.